Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So on this video, we're basically going to discuss outsourcing your Amazon FBA business one step at a time, all right? Because as an Amazon seller, when you first start out, you're doing everything on your own, all right? From your own accounting, your own sourcing, your own prepping, like everything else in between. So in this video, we're going to go and break down every single part of the business that you need to be outsourcing one by one, and therefore able to basically help you start scaling even more, growing, buying back your time, and yeah, everything else in between. So without further ado, let's get started and stop wasting any more time. So as an Amazon seller, or better yet, as an entrepreneur in general, one of the first things that comes to our mindsets is that, I want to do everything by myself, right? Like, I want to do everything because nobody else can do it as perfect as I can. And let me just say that's 100% true, at least for the most part. Nobody else can really do what you want to do 100% correct, 100% perfect. And as an Amazon seller, that's a roadblock, because a mental roadblock, better yet, because then it's like, well, I want to do everything, but I also want to grow. And as an entrepreneur, Amazon seller, whatever you want to call it, you need to let go some aspects of your business, some control, and let someone else do certain parts of the business for you, because otherwise there's only so much time in your day that you can put into your business until you really start reaching a cap on your monthly sales, revenue, whatever you want to call it. So one of the first things as an Amazon seller that you really should be outsourcing, and look, when I say outsourcing and when I say you should be doing this or that, this is keeping in mind that this is where you basically done this part of the business yourself. You know it, you know the ins and outs. You basically know, like, okay, this happens if I do this, and if I outsource it to somebody else, I know exactly how that process should look. Okay, definitely don't suggest a new beginner who starts from day one to outsource anything yet completely. But learn the game, learn the ins and outs of the parts of the business you're going to outsource, and then you can look at outsourcing once you get the hang of it. But like I said, back to number one. One of the first things that you guys should be outsourcing, no matter what, is your prepping. Now, this can vary from either a prep center or having employees, family, or somebody come and help you basically prep your products. And I say this is the number one thing you should outsource, because when we come down to it, guys, in our Amazon business, what's the number one thing that's actually going to make us our money? Is it prep and stuff? Some may think, yeah. I mean, you got to send products to Amazon, right? And so, yeah, that's a valid argument. But the real thing that's going to make you your money is sourcing more products. And so if you're wasting time prepping your products and not sourcing your products, well, then you're going to suffer, all right? And so that's why I always advise prepping needs to be your number one thing that you need to have outsourced. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you could pay someone 15, 16 bucks an hour to prep probably a good amount of units of your products, okay? And I know at first you're just like, man, that's some money I gotta throw out of my pocket. I gotta pay somebody. I'm trying to save up as much capital. If capital is an issue, then obviously you should probably be doing this yourself. But as you start scaling, like I say, then you really need to look at outsourcing this aspect of the business. Because again, I mean, think about it. Let's say it takes you 8 hours a week just to prep products alone. That's 8 hours of sourcing new products that you could have been doing instead. And so while you would have paid someone like, I don't know, what's the number, like 90 bucks or something like that for those 8 hours, you could have made probably that 90 bucks back in 1 hour had you found one really good ASIN to make up for paying someone else. And that's just based off 1 hour. Now you have the other 7 hours that you could have basically found more products and, grew even more with that. So you just really got to look at it from a different mindset when it comes to your prepping or outsourcing anything. And that's why I put prepping number one, because prepping is not going to make you any money. Anybody can basically be trained to do this, whether it's through an employee or through a prep center. But this is the number one aspect in your business that you guys need to be outsourcing no matter what. Because prepping is not making you guys any money whatsoever. Sourcing is. Alright, so hopefully guys you understand that part. Now, the next aspect of the business that needs to be outsourced, A lot of admin stuff, really, right? Like dealing with returns, stranded inventory, high, what do you call it? High price alerts. All the little admin stuff. I would definitely look into outsourcing that as well because again, it just takes time away from your, sourcing from making money when you can have someone else do this, like a virtual assistant or maybe someone you know personally, and just have them dedicated to that, train them very well, what to look for, how to return, request returns, issuing refunds if needed, just all of that in between, okay? Like little admin stuff that really just takes up more of your time when it shouldn't be. So definitely outsource that aspect of the business as well. Because again, I mean, it's just little stuff. I know some people may do it themselves, which is perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, if you really want to grow, you need to outsource more and more. All right, so outsourcing some admin stuff, yeah, you definitely want to do that. Now, number three, your repricing, all right? And this goes back to prepping. At the end of the day, what's going to make you money is basically sourcing new products. And if you're spending your day basically repricing, hundreds of different units, SKUs, ASINs, whatever, that's a lot of time that you could have gone to basically sourcing new products. And so at this point, I would suggest getting a repricer. Now, what repricer you may want to get will vary. Try them all out. They'll have free trials and see what fits for you and your business. But try different repricers, see which one you like, and make sure you get that aspect outsourced as soon as possible as well. Because again, repricing is not going to make you guys any money, guys, all right? I mean, I guess it will if you're trying to, fix your pricing. But that time is better out spent buying more profitable inventory, not manually repricing on your app all day long. Like, no, man, that's just too much hassle, way too much. And so that's where a repricer comes in and hopefully, makes you that money. But yeah, definitely check out a repricer, guys. It's a game changer. I mean, especially when you don't have to mess with a lot of it. I mean, it just reprices for you. You just go and your prices are, your products are selling, and yeah, you're making more money by having that outsourced. All right, so that's another aspect of the business that you guys need to have fully outsourced. Now, another aspect that you may want to consider, I wouldn't say fully outsourced just yet, but maybe help getting this part of the business more, and that's your sourcing, okay? And I say this because at a certain point when you start scaling up, there's only so much time you can put into this by sourcing more products to where it gets to the point where you kind of need extra help helping you, right? Because let's say you're doing, I don't know, online arbitrage, there's a flash deal going on. Maybe you only have like 2 hours to search the whole website for that flash deal. Well, now you're limited on how many products you can source because you don't have any extra help or anything like that. Whereas if you had a virtual assistant or someone else helping you source that website, maybe you could take one half of the site and the other person could take the other half of the site. And like that, you're doubling your production, you're doubling your sourcing, and you're able to double the products that you can buy, assuming you have the capital for it, all right? So yeah, I would definitely look into getting another person to source with you to help you, and like that, you're basically going to be doubling your revenue, your products going in, and so much in between. And I do want to say though, if you decide to hire a sourcer, and I say this very, very carefully because a lot of people don't understand this part. Keep in mind, let's say you get one from the Philippines, a virtual assistants from there, 400, 500 bucks a month. Keep in mind, they're going to be helping you find a lot of products, assuming you train them well. And so what that means is that if you're going to need the capital to be able to spend on those products as well, okay? Because when they get very good, you go from spending a few $100 to thousands more a month. And, for some of you, if you don't have that type of capital to keep up with the demand that your VAs are sourcing for you, it's going to be kind of a bummer because then you can't spend as much money on all the inventory, all the products that they're finding for you. So make sure you have some type of capital to be able to spend on the stuff that they find for you. Otherwise, you're basically missing out and losing money on great products, all right? So keep that in mind if you decide to get a virtual assistant, because if you're only starting out with $1,000, because if you're only starting with like $1,000 budget for a VA, it's not going to be enough, especially when you realize that, holy crap, I spent all my capital in like 1 week and I still have like 3 more weeks to go and I can't buy nothing. So keep that in mind, please, okay? And also keep in mind, you got to train your VAs very good. You got to train them your way of sourcing for them to be able to source the products that you want them to find for you. But yeah, having someone help you guys will come a long way. definitely a game changer. Okay, so make sure you get that part outsourced as well. Now, another part of the business that you guys need to outsource, and really this depends on you, how much capital you have, if you have it in the beginning or not. That's definitely your bookkeeping. Get a bookkeeper to keep track of your numbers for you. I get it. As an entrepreneur, you want to save up as much capital. You want to do your numbers because you think you're doing them right. But unless you're a CPA yourself who started this business, which there's very few of you who are, get a CPA, okay? Get someone to handle your books for you. Outsource that part of the business, because going through documents, receipts, invoices, statements, and having to run all those numbers yourself, it takes up a lot of time. And frankly, it's just better to pay someone professionally to do them for you and knock a whole headache out of your way. Because trust me, man, doing all that, yeah, it ain't it, man. Like, just have that outsourced as soon as you can afford to. And trust me, guys, you will thank yourself for doing that, because, man, it's a lot of work, man, to keep up with your numbers like that. And yeah, especially going through Amazon reports, trying to match them with your credit card statements and just this and that. So yeah, it definitely becomes a hassle, but I would definitely look into outsourcing your bookkeeping as soon as you can afford to, all right? But I think that'll be it. I mean, we knocked out a good amount of the outsourcing part aspects of the business that I can think of. If I come up with more, I'll definitely drop another video on them specifically. If not, I could break down every single what do you call it, outsourcing individually and really go deeper on them. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it brought you guys a ton of value. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.